Hello guys, welcome to my channel, and today I bring you a video of the best post-apocalyptic games that you have to play. If you like post-apocalyptic games like me, please subscribe to the channel and leave the like in the video to help channel to grow. Now check out these amazing games. Post-Apocalyptic is a FPS game with RPG and survival horror elements, and the core mechanics remain the same for all three games. There is a weight-based inventory system, the weapons and armor all have stats and durability, and the player has to manage hunger, bleeding, and radiation poisoning as they investigate the zone and face its many dangers. The subsequent games expanded upon the core formula in several ways, e.g., Clear Sky improved the original's bare-bones faction system and allowed the player to repair and upgrade weapons. At the same time, Call of Pripyat also introduced more open levels and improved the game's RPG elements. In any case, if you're a fan of post-apocalyptic games but still somehow haven't played any of the Post-Apocalyptic games in 2021, now is the time, especially since Post-Apocalyptic 2 will launch in the near future.
Morning crowd.
This War of Mine is a survival strategy game, and the goal is to keep the survivors alive and healthy while scavenging for supplies at night and fortifying the hideout during the day. The game has a lot of replay value, and the graphics are highly evocative, making for a very visually striking experience. A more recent release from the developers of this War of Mine is also a post-apocalyptic survival strategy game, albeit with a different setting and on a larger scale than the previous game. The title may suggest, it places the player amid a mini ice age that came about as a result of a massive volcanic eruption. As it usually goes with strategy games, the player needs to gather resources and build up their cities, all while making sure that all the members of the population are met and that there is balance in the community. This includes the basics like food, but there are also other factors to consider in protecting the political turmoil situation. In any case, Frostpunk features beautiful graphics, striking art, and engaging gameplay, plus it has been received well by fans and critics alike, so it's another post-apocalyptic game that you should definitely try out if this is your genre. Metro 2033 is mainly similar to Post-Apocalyptic. From an aesthetic and thematic standpoint, it plays differently, featuring levels that are tenser and filled with more scripted encounters. That is not to say that Metro 2033 is a bad game. After all, if it were a bad game, it wouldn't be on this list. Quite the contrary, it did an excellent job of delivering a proper survival, horror, experience, and even if we look at it as a regular FPS game, it has some well-designed arenas, and the shooting is quite satisfying, too. Metro 2033 has also received two sequels. The first is Metro Last Light, which feels much more like a fast-paced FPS game as it doesn't put a lot of stock in slow-paced survival horror, unlike its predecessor. The second one, Metro Exodus, did a decent job at balancing the FPS and survival elements, but it also featured more open and diverse levels, thus encouraging exploration and helping prevent the setting from going stale after 2 games of tunnel crawling. Ultimately, we feel that the original Metro 2033 is the best of the bunch, but all 3 games are worth playing if you haven't done so already. Fallout is another classic franchise that is sure to pop out among the first names mentioned when post-apocalyptic games are brought up, and rightfully so. This series has spawned several games, but Fallout New Vegas is often regarded as the best of the bunch. When it comes to the gameplay, New Vegas is an action RPG, featuring both ranged and melee combat. It uses the same Gamebryo engine as Fallout 3, so the combat is similar as well. The VATS automatic targeting system is still there, and it makes for some very gory kills, and the perk system is still there, featuring a variety of combat and non-combat perks. There's also a crafting system and a reputation system, as the players standing with the many in-game factions will inevitably shift throughout the game. All in all, Fallout has an exceptional feel to it, mixing serious storytelling with comedy, and while most regard New Vegas as the best game in the series, we'd say that the first 2 games, Fallout 1 and Fallout 2, are also worth playing. Meanwhile, we feel that the rest aren't quite as good, but you might like them if you like Fallout style. The Last of Us is among the most noteworthy PlayStation 3 exclusives that were released in the twilight days of Sony's 7th-generation console. It is easily one of the best games ever made in general, post-apocalyptic setting or not. The game takes place years after a mysterious new species of the cordyceps fungus started turning people into zombies, and few games have managed to depict dilapidated cities quite as beautifully as The Last of Us has. Graphics and art direction aside, the story is one of the game's strongest suits, as it delivers an emotional and memorable experience with a cast of very well-written characters. On the gameplay front, The Last of Us isn't terribly complex. It features both melee and ranged combat, as well as stealth mechanics, which are very important in higher difficulties. The player will have to scavenge for ammo, count their shots, time their melee attacks, and take enemies out one by one if possible. As already stated, the gameplay formula isn't that complex, but it has just enough depth to keep things interesting throughout the campaign without going stale, so it is executed very well. The game marked a generation in the post-apocalyptic genre, just fantastic. And if you are going to play or have already played some of these games, let like for me to know and subscribe to the channel so as not to miss any new videos. Thank you so much for watching so far and see you in the next video.